This is our version of Christmas. White hot sun, beautiful waves, and of course the sparkling sand. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Now we're here at the beautiful Helsha. Doing what, you may ask? We're taking in the sights and sounds of Christmas, Jamaican style. In these parts, seafood is a staple. Christmas time is no different. This magazine has a host of features to definitely put you in the festive mood, so stay with us.
Oh, the sights and sounds of Christmas Jamaican style. Help us tell your stories through pictures. Or how about songs or poems bigging up Jamaica? We'd love to showcase them on the pages of Jamaica Magazine. Email us jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm and be sure to include your contact info. Let's end the year with a bang, and Christmas time in Jamaica is the most wonderful time of the year.
Good day, I'm Carrie Ann Smith, and this is your JIS News for Monday, December 16. The winter tourist season is expected to push stopover visitor arrivals for this year to more than 2 million. Tourism and Entertainment Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil says preliminary estimates for January to November show that some 1.8 million persons have already vacationed in Jamaica.
We anticipate that the country will earn close to $2 billion this year. We're encouraged by the number of advance bookings and the excitement that brand Jamaica still generates.
Dr. McNeil was addressing the nation Sunday for the start of the winter tourist season, which runs from December 15 until April 2014. Government is receiving nearly $50 million in support to manage the reintegration of deportees into the Jamaican society. The National Security Ministry and the British High Commission signed a memorandum of understanding last Friday to improve the capacity of the deportee monitoring unit to the tune of $48 million.
Helping us to strengthen our capacities as far as the current system involving the reception, processing and monitoring of deported individuals.
The project started in November of this year and will continue until April 2015. British High Commissioner, His Excellency David Fitton, says each year the UK government deports about 400 Jamaicans and is concerned with ensuring that those individuals are successfully reintegrated into society.
We all hope that people come back and work and do reintegrate themselves properly and become members of society in a responsible way. There may be some who are, for various reasons, not able to do that and might unfortunately return to criminal activity. The aim here is to work again closely with you and with our colleagues in the JCF to ensure that we can try and prevent that happening.
Government continues to make good on its mission to empower citizens through the distribution of land titles. 78 titles were presented to beneficiaries from the Gravel Heights community in St. Catherine on Friday. Minister with responsibility for housing, Dr. Maurice Guy, told recipients that the titles were keys that would open doors of opportunities.
It is potential that is locked up in the envelope. I want you to unleash that potential, ladies and gentlemen. The access to ownership of land is what is not only going to make you and your families better, but will improve the well-being of the economy of the country.
Climate Change Minister Robert Pickersgill is warning that Jamaicans cannot afford to continue treating the issue of climate change with scant regard. The minister was speaking recently at the closing and awards ceremony for the Climate Change Adaptation and Disaster Risk Reduction Project.
What is amazing to me is that even now there are still naysayers about climate change. Despite the growing body of scientific knowledge about this phenomenon, and the empirical evidence, for instance, in the form of Hurricane Sandy, which cost us approximately 9.7 billion Jamaican dollars. We must therefore plan not just for more frequent disasters, but for droughts, for flooding, and for heat.
The closing out ceremony awarded persons who were involved in the Climate Change Adaptation and Disaster Risk Reduction Project. It was funded by government, the European Union, and the United Nations Environment Programme. And finally, the approach to leadership must be one that seeks to advance the cause of the people with integrity, compassion, and humility. That, says Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, is one of the lasting lessons to be learned from the life of the late Nelson Mandela.
The best tribute we can pay to him, Mr. Speaker, is to emulate his extraordinary life and to see to what extent we can reflect his glory. Let us in honor of this great man, Nelson Mandela, determined to rid ourselves of tribalist tendencies. Nelson Mandela was nothing if not an all-embracing consensus builder who believed in inclusive leadership. What a lesson for us as Jamaicans.
The Prime Minister was addressing Parliament Friday as members of the Senate and the lower house jointly paid tribute to South Africa's first majority-elected president. In his remarks, opposition leader Andrew Holness also spoke to the leadership lessons to be learned from Nelson Mandela.
Lessons we learn from Mandela is his ability to rise above the injustice and cruelty of others and to focus on what is right for the people.
And that's it for JS News Today. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
If you don't wear your seatbelt, this could happen to you. And the consequences could be disastrous. In an accident, the vehicle stops. Suddenly, you don't. Even at 30 miles per hour, your body will be thrown violently forward with a crash force of up to 10 times your weight. Always wear a seatbelt. Seatbelts save lives.
The Office of the Prime Minister is the lead ministry, ensuring that the environment is fit for growth and progress in the country. Here are some things that Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and her team did at Jamaica House last week.
A great man remembered in fitting tribute. Tackling adolescent pregnancy, and Minister Nita Headley supports Top Cape High School. This is Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Samantha Allen. Jamaica's love and appreciation of late freedom fighter Nelson Mandela compelled Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller to travel to South Africa Tuesday to attend a memorial service in Mandela's honor. Locally, the week of mourning continued Thursday with a memorial service organized by the Jamaican government and the South African High Commission. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips represented Mrs. Simpson Miller, reading the first lesson at the Thanksgiving service. On Friday, a joint sitting of the Houses of Parliament was convened to honor Mandela. The Prime Minister and her Minister of Information were among those paying tribute.
Nelson Mandela was the embodiment of the better angels of our nature. Optimistic, hopeful, trusting, resilient, compassionate, forgiving, loving, and accepting of all. He faced adversity and setbacks with a stoic composure. It was his openness to others, that humility, which made him such a great soul.
Those of us who are inspired by Mandela's remarkable contribution to human progress cannot allow his dreams to die. His dreams did not end with his ascendancy to the presidency. It has not and cannot end with his passing. Nelson Mandela wanted a world in which we have conquered evils such as racism and sexism, eradicated social inequalities, educated all the masses, where healthcare is accessible to all and human rights are guaranteed. The most enduring memorial to Madiba is to do our part right here in Jamaica to achieve his ideals.
And Jamaica's remembrance of the late iconic figure concluded Saturday with a tribute concert held at the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center. Nelson Mandela passed away on December 5 at age 95. In the government's ongoing work to end adolescent pregnancy, Information Minister Senator Sandria Faulkner attended a high-level meeting in Trinidad and Tobago last Monday. The one-day meeting was funded by the United Nations Population Fund and CARICOM. It explored opportunities and challenges in addressing adolescent pregnancy in the Caribbean. Minister Faulkner chaired a session of the meeting which examined a multi-sectoral approach to the issue. On her assignment in Trinidad and Tobago, the minister was accompanied by Dr. Zoe Simpson of the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation. And Minister with responsibility for sport, Natalie Nita Headley, endorsed the official opening of Arden High School Sports Day Thursday. Mrs. Nita Headley reminded the students about the importance of sport in the holistic development of all Jamaicans.
Sports is a unifying force. It brings all of us together. It allows us to share. It allows for camaraderie. It builds our bodies. Ladies, it makes us look better. The fitter you are, the better you look. Gentlemen, you have muscles. You need to get them. So physical activity is extremely important.
The minister also used the occasion to commend the school for topping the Caribbean in the recent sitting of the Cape exams. And that's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next week for the latest coming out of the office of the Prime Minister. Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am Nadine Newsom. Today we explore anti-money laundering and its implications for the FSC regulated sectors. Joining me is Larice Edwards-Brown, Director of Investigations and Enforcement at the FSC. Welcome to the FSC Minute, Larice.
Thank you, Nadine.
Larice, what is the role of employees conducting financial transactions as it relates to reporting a suspicious transaction?
Employees of a financial institution should pay particular attention to complex transactions, also unusual large transactions, and unusual transactional patterns. If this type of activity is suspected, this is when the judgment of these employees come into place. And therefore, that employee who has this suspicion in dealing with a customer should alert their compliance officer. Their compliance officer would make a determination on whether or not to involve the Financial Investigations Division. This would be reported immediately before completing the transaction, but be careful not to alert the customer.
My financial institution requested personal information such as my source of income, my proof of address, TRN, and other information. Why is all of this necessary?
It is necessary for financial institutions to know their customers. And sometimes the questions that they pose to you is to try and to get to an assessment of who you are and the source of funds that you're seeking to place into their institutions. So just work with your financial institution as they try to develop this profile of you and the source of their funds.
I understand that there are also procedures known as Know Your Employees. How does this relate to anti-money laundering?
Know Your Employee, or KYE, is a very critical component of establishing the anti-money laundering or the countering financing of terrorism framework. Now, the employer would do rigorous background checks on the employees to find out what type of person are they employing in their institutions, because sometimes the act of money laundering is committed through the very persons that are employed to these institutions. So checks are carried out on customers, and likewise checks will be carried out on their employees.
Thank you, Larice. My guest today was Larice Edwards-Brown, Director of Investigations and Enforcement at the FSC. For the FSC Minute, I am Nadine Newsom.
a healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service.
The government is steadfast in its quest to improve the safety and security of every Jamaican, especially at Christmas. Here's how the Tourism Enhancement Fund is assisting this drive.
Improving the mobility of those who serve and protect. Beautifying the elegant corridor of the country's tourism capital. And tackling harassment head-on. Through the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the Tourism and Entertainment Ministry is helping the government achieve its mission to improve security and safety for every Jamaican and those who visit our shores.
Tourism and crime and violence do not coexist.
Indeed, the continued success of Jamaica's tourism sector depends on the country's ability to provide a safe and secure environment for our visitors. As such, the Tourism Ministry has taken a number of steps to improve security for visitors while promoting the country as a safe destination. To help improve security, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, provided $91 million for the National Security Ministry in October 2013. The money will be used to improve mobility on land and at sea. Of the amount, $45 million was used to acquire additional motor vehicles to facilitate effective monitoring and enforcement by the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
$40 million for the Marine Police, which goes towards ensuring that there are vessels in all the harbors.
That TEF disbursement also covered the cost of JCF to provide enhancement and educational support to the Montego Bay Marine Park and Fish Sanctuaries.
The partnership that the Ministry of National Security has enjoyed with the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment has been an outstanding one.
Over the last 2.5 years, the TEF has approved grants in excess of $8.5 million for projects geared towards strengthening the capacity of the JCF in the resort areas. Additionally, the Montego Bay Hills Police Station in St. James was recently refurbished at a cost of $6 million. The TEF, an agency of the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment, is mandated to undertake projects for the improvement of the country's tourism product. It is financed through a tourism enhancement fee, which is paid by incoming airline and cruise ship passengers. This fiscal year, the ministry has also undertaken another major project in the second city. Montego Bay's elegant corridor is to be properly illuminated. Additional lighting is to be provided for the 27-kilometer stretch, which connects some 15 hotels, allowing for easier and safer access. The project should cost $400 million, and the installation of the LED lights is to start soon. Over in Negril, the Tourism Ministry is constructing bicycle tracks and pedestrian pathways along a 6-kilometer roadway located between the roundabout and the aerodrome on the Norman Manley Boulevard. This improvement will encourage greater visitor mobility and safety. The work is slated for completion by April 2014 and it should cost $170 million. Maintaining a safe environment where tourists are free from harassment, that's the ultimate goal of the Anti-Harassment Tourism Courtesy Corps, a group of special officers who ensure no one bothers our visitors. Smartly attired in bandana outfits, they play this important role in several resort areas, including Montego Bay, Ocho and New Kingston. Results have been positive so far. Tourism interests say Ocho has seen a marked reduction in tourist harassment. Addressing a recently held annual general meeting of the St. Anne Chamber of Commerce, former President Kumar Sujanani said the reports of harassment have dropped. Though he did not provide figures, Mr. Sujanani said the improvement was due to the work of the police with support from the tourism ministry and the business sector. As the Portia Simpson Miller administration continues to strive for developed nation status by 2030, the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment, through its affiliates, is helping to improve security and safety, government's third strategic priority for this fiscal year.
This example of joined-up government is really the start of a true integrated, multidisciplinary approach to improving citizen security. That is the direction that the government is committed to, policy-wise.
We in tourism understand that we also have to be part of this, and we have determined that we are going to play our role in joining with our partnership in the Ministry of National Security to ensure that we can do everything that we can to fight this scourge of crime and violence.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Original.
Sunday is a family day. We like cook together, talk, share ideas and help each other. We reason about things.
I spend quality time with my family every day.
It is very important because at the end of the day, you have children around you and you have to show them that, okay, this is the foundation, this is the way it's supposed to be.
They keep the family together and in line, you know, and especially with the boys.
Depression is a medical condition that affects 18 to 40% of the Jamaican population. That's according to a study by the Ministry of Health. We spoke with Dr. Earl Wright, a former director at the Health Ministry.
The medical condition called clinical depression or major depression in Jamaica, our research shows that it affects approximately 18% of the general population. And in people who are medically ill, it increases to 22 to 30%. This condition usually shows itself by problems with sleeping, problems with eating. You go to bed at 7 o'clock and at 1, 2 o'clock you are still awake, or you might go to bed at 7 o'clock and 7 o'clock the next morning you pull the cover over your head and say, I don't want to get up out the bed today.
There's also a difficulty in concentrating, which may result in a pileup of house or office work. Persons may become irritable quite easily and stop taking pride in their appearance. A feeling of sadness or worthlessness may also manifest itself.
You should have the feeling sad most of the time, most days, for 2 weeks or more, the same thing, not enjoying things that you used to enjoy, problems with sleeping, eating, problems with guilt, feeling that all the things that happened early in your life, you recreate them in your life, and also concentration and thoughts of death and suicide.
Persons might also go into withdrawal mode and lack interest in sexual activities. Now, various factors contribute to persons being depressed. The experts call them stressors. These might include violence, motor vehicle accidents, and natural disasters. One main stressor that might precipitate major depressive disorder, however, is money. If you realize you have any of the previously mentioned symptoms continuously for about 2 weeks, the medical experts advise that you visit your doctor for a checkup. If it's mild, talk therapy along with a reduction of the stresses as a first step. However, if it's severe, the doctor may recommend the use of antidepressants so that your mood may be modified to deal with your situation.
They should manage their stress so that they are always able to deal with the problems. The problem doesn't accumulate and doesn't lead to mental and physical problems.
Still depressed? Try this.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
Exercise is also very important because exercise increases the good chemicals in your brain.
And nothing beats a good laugh.
Also, on a regular basis, need to have time for yourself. You should have at least 15 to 30 minutes each day when you are not dealing with anybody, you are just dealing with you. There's nothing in life that happens to you that you can't learn something from. So even if the stressor seems overwhelming to you, you can reframe it and ask yourself, what can I learn positively from this situation?
And the government has taken steps to identify persons who may be going through a state of depression and offer assistance where needed. A screening instrument has been adapted and standardized to screen Jamaicans who seek medical attention in a public health facility. 2 main questions mostly asked. Have you been feeling depressed over the past 2 weeks? Have you not been enjoying things that you used to enjoy over the past 2 weeks?
If the answer to any one of those are positive, then you move to asking the other question to meet the criteria for depression. All health centers throughout the island, the medical doctors have been trained to administer the instrument and also to treat depression.
If it so happens that your depression requires the use of antidepressants, avenues have been created for you to access the drugs.
All antidepressants are on the NHF list and are therefore accessible to the general population.
So you've just realized that you're depressed. Do not feel shame. Do not put off your feelings until another day. You may not reap the fruits of your labor overnight, but the journey cannot be completed without that first step. And if it's someone close to you, lend them a helping hand. Give them a chance to get on with their lives. And one final tip. Add something pleasurable to your life now. Remember, there's no good health without mental health.
This is where we take our leave on Jamaica Magazine for today. Our time here at Helsha was well spent. We'd like to hear from you, so send us an email, jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm, or follow us on Twitter @JISNews. You may visit our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire production team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.